Katie here from the Scrappy Sisters, and I am up today with a 9x12 layout. This is another one for Lincoln's Milestone album. I think I've said this before, but I have got a 9x12 album that I didn't use from a few years ago when I tried out 9x12 for physical project life and regular scrapping. And I wanted to use it, and I thought documenting Link's milestones was a good place because I have made him a digital project life album for his first year, and I just included 12x12 scrapping in our regular family album, so he has his own little milestone album, and I've used these milestone cards to help me. Now I'm quickly refilling my ATG gun. I thought I'd leave this in because I know some people think that the ATGs can be a bit temperamental, which they can. I fully admit that they can. I don't find them too difficult usually, particularly if I use them regularly. If I haven't used it for a while and then I go to refill it, after I remind myself every time about how to do it. And so sometimes, it takes me a little longer. And I'm also using generic ATG tape. So I do, in all honesty, in full disclosure, I find that the Scotch brand ATG tape does kind of is easier, I should say, to load and use in the ATG. Personally, that's my personal preference, but it is expensive and the generic tape from a quality perspective seems to be just as good. It's just a little harder sometimes to load on to the roll. So yeah, that's for me personally. In Australia, in terms of tape, usually I buy it, not usually, I have bought it in bulk recently. I think I've got 20 rolls sitting here. I feel like I go through this much faster than I do my double-sided tape, like my tear tape, because I assume it's because it's easier to use. I don't have to pull off the backing of, like I do on the tear tape. So I assume that's why I probably use a little bit more of it. But anyway, it's convenient. I'm very glad I have it. I know it's big, it's a little bulky, but I do enjoy having it. So there you go. I've left the refilling of my ATG in. It's not too tricky, and I'm just obviously checking to make sure it's all working. It is, so I continue on as per usual with my scrapping. So I am backing my photos in just white cardstock. You can see here I did round the corners of my photos. Now the reason I did that is because the milestone cards that I'm using, you can see on the left of the page there where it says 6 weeks old today, those have rounded edges. So I don't love rounded edges, but I do want them all to kind of look similar, tie in together. So I do round the edges, and I think you see me bring in the corner rounder now. Yeah, I am. This is the Becky Higgins Project Life corner rounder. I hate it. I would not recommend you buy it. I'm not even sure you can get it anymore, but it often doesn't cut properly. It can be a bit temperamental. So I think there are better corner rounders on the market, and I would not recommend that one. So I'm just layering up my photos. I'm just using some scraps from my stash for this. This pink paper here is just a piece that I had in my in my individual sheets of 12x12 pattern paper. So I don't have very much pattern paper that isn't sort of already in either a kit or a collection and kept together with that collection. I've only got sort of 2 sections in my storage that has paper. That sounds like a lot. What I mean is, in one cube in my Calyx unit, I have a unit that my dad made me that holds 12x12 paper, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I think 12 little slots that I can put paper in. Only 2 of those are full of loose 12x12 papers. The rest I keep like whites cardstock in, black cardstock, coloured cardstock, my mixed media Vicky Booten foundations paper, and then I have a couple of paper pads, not very many, and then I have some Stampin' Up! Designer series paper from when I used to sell Stamping Up. I still have quite a lot of that paper left, and I usually use that to make cards. I very rarely use that in scrapbooking. To be honest, it's because the colours are usually really vibrant, and I don't love them on a full 12x12 like spread, but on cards they're perfect. So that's what I do. Now, this layout I'm making here was actually for a bit of a fun activity that Christy from Christy's Beautiful Life did in her Facebook group, which is Happy Scrappy No Crappy. And it was she called it the Mystery Scrapper. I think that's what we were calling it. We were calling it the Masked Scrapper, but there was another series, I believe, that uses the same name, so she didn't want to confuse anyone, so changed the name to the Mystery Scrapper. I believe that's right. And so basically what she did was she put us into groups of 4 or 5, and we all were given an image that we needed to use for our layouts, so that everybody used the same image, and then she released the layouts all together as a group and listed the people who made them, and then everybody else had to guess who made which layout. So we just had a generic photo of a landscape that we used to cover, the photos in our actual layouts, and people were able to then guess who made what. Now, I must admit, everybody guessed mine correctly. I assume it's because I went with a baby themed layout, but maybe not. Maybe everyone just knows my style. So yes, they did all get mine, that this was my layout, even though I had covered my face, and I also covered the milestone card with the sort of generic photo that we were using. But it was a lot of fun. Now, the ephemera that I'm using, I think it all is from Pink Paislee's Little Adventurer. It's quite an old collection, 2018. I mean, it's not that old, but it's fairly old. And so I only had the ephemera pack from this collection, and I actually picked it up only last year on a sale from a online scrapbooking store. Actually, she's also a physical scrapbooking store in Australia, but not near where I live, so I bought it from her online store. She was having a sale. I just saw it in the kind of kids area, and I'm like, it's super cute. I'd never seen it before, so I picked it up. Mainly, I'm not going to lie, one of the ephemera pieces has a train, and my son's obsessed with the train, and he has a train, or had a train cake for his 2nd birthday, and I hadn't scrapped those photos yet, so that is one of the reasons I grabbed it. I grabbed the pack before I made, this is very confusing for everyone. I made the train cake for his birthday in January. I bought this ephemera pack before January, but he was still obsessed with trains at the time. So yes, I am glad to be using up some of that on this layout. And the ephemera pieces aren't necessarily kind of relevant to the photo. Obviously, it's a selfie of me and Link. He was 6 weeks old. He's super cute, so little. It's so lovely making these layouts a few years later, because you sort of forget, don't you, those times. Like, I mean, I remember a lot about when he was a newborn, but you look back at these photos and you go, oh, he was so snuggly and so little, and, it was all a whirlwind being a mum for the first time, and, we all know what it's like, sleep deprivation and just trying to adjust to life. It's easy to forget how beautiful that time is, for me anyway. So I have finished, I think, sticking everything down. I don't really do titles on these layouts because the milestone cards are effectively a title, but I did add that big kind of, I guess, sort of title that says milestones from the ephemera pack. Added a few frames. It's got like it's a gold glitter, but it's quite a dark kind of gold. It leans a little bit coppery, but it's not. It's gold. I don't know how you would describe it. Dirty gold, maybe. So I did add those, and I pulled in some they're orange love hearts, little puffy ones, because there was a little bit of sort of the more orange tones in like the little fox ephemera piece. So I just wanted to bring in a little bit more of that and sprinkle those around. I thought about trying to add that little Charms Creations on the page, but it didn't make it. It probably would have made it if I had have thought about it a little earlier in the process, but it was a little late to be adding. I'm coming in with some navy Heidi Swap Colour Shine for some splatters, and then we are finished. So thank you so much for watching. I'll leave a link to Christy's Facebook group in the description box down below, if I remember. Happy Scrappy No Crappy. It's not a massive group, but it's a lot of fun. We just have fun, and we we chat and support and share layouts and whatnot, and it's a lot of fun. And Christy sometimes shares some little challenges for us all, which is a lot of fun as well. So yeah, come and join if that's your jam. I also just grabbed out my fan brush and the white Liquitech acrylics ink and did some splatters. The little tiny fan brush I use makes very small splatters, which I think look lovely, but just be warned, it goes everywhere with the little tiny fan. So that's it. We are all finished. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your support, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks, guys. Bye.